How you doing today? Just wanted to stop by and check in and see how everything's going. I know with this new year starting, we thought everything was going to take off running right away, but for a lot of us, it's not doing that. And we're thinking, what's going on? What's wrong with me? Why is things not working out like I expected them to? Well, here's the thing. We're still transitioning. Okay. So, tiny little history lesson, which I'm really not going to dig into it too deep because, well, actually, when I looked into it, there was some conflicting information. So, I'm just going to give you a little snippet of it, and, maybe another time we can dig deeper into this whole time thing and calendars or whatever because it's kind of really misleading. But the point I'm trying to make is our bodies work in a certain way. It works with the stars, the moon, the earth, the seasons, okay? And right now, our nervous systems are completely out of whack because for centuries, our calendar's been screwed up, okay? So, my understanding, our calendars originally worked off the astrology, the moon, the stars, the earth rotations, all that kind of stuff, right? Okay. So we had like a 13-month year of 28 days. And our bodies worked with the seasons. So, what we would think of the new year right now would actually be in March, when the spring equinox, okay? So in 45 BC, Julius Caesar decided he was going to change the calendar. He didn't like it, for whatever reason. And he went and changed from the 13 months to the 12 months. From the 28 days to our traditional 30, 31 days, except for nice little February and leap year and all that stuff. So we went from leap year's 366 days, however, so I'm not sure if the day thing, I mean, how many days a year I think is the same. But he also changed that the beginning of the year was January 1st instead of March 1st. Okay. So, we think of the equinox as being on the 20th or 21st of March, right? Well, not sure if March 1st was what we now call the 21st or 20th. Not sure. That was going to take a little bit more time to dig, and I wasn't ready to do that today. I just, quick little thing here. Maybe in the future. If you're all interested, maybe that's something we can do. Hey, if you're an expert, go ahead and put your comments down and tell us exactly how this went. But just go and do a little quick synopsis here. Okay, so in 1582, they skipped 10 days in the Gregorian calendar to align with the Julian calendar, which drifted behind due to Earth's orbit. Well, when you change a few months, maybe that's why. I don't know. And then in 1752, it was something about skipping 11 days from September 3rd to the 13th because they changed from the Julian calendar to the Gregorian calendar so we could catch up with the Europe, which used the Gregorian calendar. And then there was something I seen, like, with the Gregorian calendar, they lost so many days in October or something. So, but then it also said, like, certain countries changed and other countries didn't yet. So, it sounds like a mess to me. So, no wonder our bodies and our nervous system and stuff is screwed up, okay? We're trying to jump ahead in the middle of winter, which is a time that we're supposed to be resting, okay? And with this, our eating habits are even supposed to change. So there's a whole lot of stuff mixed up. So if you're feeling like, I'm supposed to be so far ahead because this person's doing this or that, or that's what's supposed to be done right now, but everything feels like it's lagging, feelings are coming up to the surface still, it still feels like a transition, don't think you're crazy. Because you're not. You're just out of balance, right along with the earth and the calendar and everything else. I mean, seriously, who has the right to change all that? I don't know. Anyway, different discussion for a different time. But anyway, I just want to bring to light that, we're still purging. We're still transitioning. You know, the year of the horse, I guess, really doesn't start until, I think they said February 17th. Don't quote me on that. I could be off by a day or two. If I'm wrong and you know it, want to correct it, yeah, make a, comment. Go ahead, we can have a discussion. Or maybe even make a, different topic for a different day. You're going to go a little deeper in some things. That's fine too. But, we're purging. We're trying to release things so we can expand when the time is right. Okay. Yeah, I'm looking down because dates and stuff, that was kind of crazy. But, I've got some notes here just so I didn't go off topic more than normal. Also, listen to your body. Some of us may be detoxing. Maybe foods and stuff we once liked, we can't stand now. Maybe, different foods, things we drink, stuff like that. It may completely flip and change, and you're like, why am I not eat that? Why does this taste like crap? Why can I not eat this? And why do I crave that? I've never liked that. Just listen to your body. It's telling you something. Nothing else, just listen to our body. At least we can trust that. May not understand it, but trust it. It'll get us where we need. Some of us might decide to fast, do a detox, to help your body purge. Because when you do a fast, it helps bring up the things, toxins and stuff like that, which I knew that, but over the new year, I did a 88-hour fast and realized, and then so many days later, I had a migraine, and it's like the nervous system went crazy, and my fibromyalgia just went through the roof, right along with the migraine, shut me down for like 3 days. That's kind of why this video is late. But I was like, what's going on here, And it dawned on me watching another YouTuber, and he was going on about this, and I was like, oh, that's right, because when you detox, or you do a fast, it brings up all that stuff that you need to get rid of. So my body was physically purging whatever was there that wasn't supposed to be. And that's just how it did it. My nervous system was, I guess, purging. So it makes sense now. At the time, I was like, what is triggering this? So, give yourself some grace if you're going through that, because, you may not actually be sick. Your body just is like, okay, I've had enough. So listen to your body, just like listen to your gut. You listen to your body, you listen to your gut. I don't think you can go wrong. Some of us might be really emotional right now too, and we just had a new moon, so here we go. So maybe talk to somebody if that's how you do it. Some people just release with music, so maybe dance around or whatever with your music. Some people meditate, journaling. A lot of people do really well with journaling. If it's stuff that, some people just like to journal and that's it, and some people like to journal and then burn it afterwards. Like they have to have that physical, visual release. So, if that's your thing, hey, do it. Whatever works for you. There's nothing wrong with that. Just don't burn that in the house or anything. Don't need to do any of that. Yeah, and movement, like I said, dance, go for a walk, go for a drive. I mean, maybe that's not as physical, but it's still some form of movement. So, you keep your energy moving, it helps work out, toxins and the things that's in your nervous system and everything like that. And, in all this, we're thinking, okay, are we crazy, this, that, all's going on. Well, that kind of makes your monkey mind, whatever you want to call it. Some people name it, name your ego, tell, hey, Karen, back off. I'm not ready to deal with you today. But, hey, to each their own. But, your mind's got to keep going, and it reflects on the past. So just because something was in the past doesn't mean it's in the present. And your mind only knows how to grasp onto that. So you can't always believe it. That's where your gut comes in. Your higher discernment, that type of thing. So don't always, those thoughts that just keep racing in your mind over and over like a broken record. Don't believe those, because it only knows the past, and only knows how to focus on the past. So those aren't necessarily you. That's not your spirit. That's not your soul. That's just your thoughts, which is different. I know, sounds kind of weird. Maybe that's something we can touch on at a later time too. But the stuff racing in your mind, let it go. Pretend it's a balloon and let it go. Know that it is not you, and you're not crazy, because your mind wants to go crazy in its little monkey thoughts, right? So yeah, and build yourself up, fill you with your intuition, empower yourself. You've got this. You just gotta stay a step ahead of it. If you can learn to trust the higher power, source, God, the universe, whatever you want to call it. I think we all pretty much believe the same thing. It's just we all call it different things. So, we can just kind of get over that and realize it's all kind of the same thing. One person names it one thing, one person names it another. It's like the different languages. One language calls a tomato one thing, another language calls a tomato something else. It doesn't mean it's still not the same object. So, yeah, there's that. And, our body's rejecting stuff that's out of sync, things that we don't need. We might even see people differently. It's kind of like the veil is being lifted, and we're seeing life and things and people for what they really are. And there's nothing wrong with that, because once you see, you can't unsee. And if it's truth, you don't want to live in a lie, do you? So everybody's going through this to different degrees. So you're not alone. Just know this. And, everybody has a different perception of things. And, just set your boundaries. That's also something we need to do. If something doesn't feel right, it's okay to say no. And you don't really have to give an explanation. People are like, oh, well, what will I say? If I say no, then they're going to want an explanation. They want to know why this or that. You don't have to give an explanation. It's just no. If it doesn't feel right, don't do it. No. It's as simple as that. It's a little tiny word, but we have such a hard time using it when we need to. Okay, so as time goes on here, things are supposed to start picking up again after we get out of, I don't know, some kind of, is it Saturn or something? I don't know, something around the 17th of February. So, until then, we're in a transition state. So, give yourself some grace, be kind to yourself, eat some better food, drink more water, stay away from the toxic food, the processed food, because it's going to weigh you down. It's probably going to, not agree with you. Some people it might not bother, and that's fine. If you're one of those, then great. But some of the rest of us, we need to, take care of ourselves a little bit more. So there's nothing wrong with that. And, if people want to look at your plate like you're crazy because, I don't know, you're eating salads and carrots or something, or living on bone broth, or whatever feels right to you, well, they do their thing, you do you. There's nothing wrong with that. And that's what makes us all different, Besides, who wants to be the same as everybody else? That'd be boring, right? So, try to ground yourself. Go out in the sun. I know, winter, you don't have a lot of sun, but try to go out in the sun. Ground yourself if you're able to ground yourself and go barefoot. Yeah, if you're living in a warm spot, that must be nice. But yeah, that's something you can do. Go hug a tree. Or, just listen to good music. Get out a singing bowl, play a singing bowl. Use your crystals. Talk to somebody. Do what you need. Maybe just go out and have a little fun. Maybe not the drinking and that kind of stuff. If it feels right, I guess it's fine too. But, if you're trying to cleanse yourself in a sense, detox. That might not be a good idea, but to each their own. I'm not judging. And just do you, do what feels right, what's right for your body, your mind, your soul, and leave it at that. It's okay. Give yourself some grace. Move forward one little step at a time. You ain't gotta make a giant leap. Because when time does decide to take off, you'll know it, and you'll be ready to go. But if you fight it, and you don't get rid of all these toxins or whatever it is that's holding you back, or you're not regulating your nervous system, when things take off, you might be left in the dust. We don't want that. So, take care of you, do you, give yourself some grace, and we'll move forward when it's time. So, don't judge yourself. Don't be too harsh on yourself. And I'll talk to you later. Bye.